Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really exciting, a blueprint that's literally designed to completely overhaul your habits and rewrite your entire identity over the next 30 days. We're going to be breaking down a fascinating framework derived from some of the best behavioral and motivational teachings out there. And look, this isn't just about making some tiny little tweak to your morning routine or, buying a fancy new planner that you use for a week and then toss in a drawer. No. This is a heavy-duty psychological blueprint. It's systematically designed to eliminate your weaknesses and forge this undeniable, unstoppable drive. So, let's dive right in.
Right off the bat, you've got to ask yourself a serious question. Are you truly prepared to change yourself? Because right now, laziness and excuses are probably holding you back, and you need to be ready to leave them behind for good. The source material we're unpacking today hits really hard right out of the gate. It asks you to confront a pretty frustrating reality. Think about it. You likely already know exactly what you should be doing, right? You know you need to wake up earlier, you know you need to put down your phone, and you already know the exact steps you need to take to reach your goals. But there's that eternal, tempting promise of, I'll just start tomorrow. And that is exactly what keeps you frozen in place. Now here's the absolute kicker, the crucial takeaway here. In exactly 1 month, the people who are ignoring you today will be actively trying to figure out how you reached your new level. So why 30 days? Well, because 30 days is essentially the psychological sweet spot. It's just enough time for a human being to physically rewire their neural pathways and completely reinvent themselves. I mean, your brain literally begins to build new connections, cementing these new behaviors until they just become second nature. But, and this is a big but, that remarkable transformation only happens if you're willing to fight a really uncomfortable internal battle every single day. Okay, let's take a quick look at the agenda for this explainer so you know exactly what's coming. First, we have the 30-day challenge. Second, days 1 through 7, the sleep of habits. Third, days 8 through 15, upgrade yourself. Fourth, days 16 through 23, competing with yourself. Fifth, days 24 through 30, new identity. And finally, number 6, your final decision.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the 30-day challenge, and why you need to stop lying to yourself.
Listen, to kick off this journey, we have to start with a harsh truth. Every single time you invent a reason to delay your work, you are actively choosing to remain weak. It's tough to hear, but you're trading long-term pride for short-term comfort. As you can see on the timeline, this journey breaks down into 4 distinct phases of transformation. This isn't just one big, monotonous 30-day grind. The psychological roadblocks you're going to face in week 1, where you basically have to make an ironclad promise of 0 excuses, are entirely different from the ones you'll face in week 4. Understanding these 4 distinct phases is a real game changer because it allows you to anticipate those mental traps before they actually spring on you, giving you a massive tactical advantage over your own procrastination. Moving right along to the first phase of the timeline, days 1 through 7, breaking the sleep of habits and the battle against the primal brain. Entering this first week, oh man, your mind is going to constantly beg you to just start tomorrow. Your primal brain is deeply, deeply comfortable with its current routine. And I promise you, it will invent brilliant, highly convincing reasons for you to hit that snooze button. Most people just sit around waiting for a sudden burst of motivation or the perfect mood to start working. But honestly, that's essentially like waiting for a bus in the middle of the ocean. It's literally never going to arrive. The blueprint argues that true discipline is entirely independent of your mood. It's your ability to execute your tasks, especially on the days when you feel like doing absolutely nothing. Your brain wants that cheap dopamine and rest, but you have to actively, aggressively deny it.
So, how do you actually survive this grueling first week? You must commit to these 3 non-negotiable daily actions. Number 1, wake up early, even when every single fiber of your being just wants to sleep. Number 2, start your day completely disconnected from your phone. Think about it. When you open social media or your email first thing in the morning, you're letting someone else's digital agenda dictate your mindset, and that throws you into a reactive state for the rest of the day. Don't do it. And number 3, dedicate a minimum of 30 focused minutes strictly to your primary goal. Why does this matter so much? Because these small daily victories act as a rigorous boot camp for your willpower. If you can survive this week, you've honestly won the hardest battle of the whole challenge.
Let's move to phase 2, days 8 through 15, upgrade yourself and the battle of focus. Okay, so by day 8, congratulations, the initial shock to your system has completely passed. Your primal brain has finally realized that, hey, you are the one in charge now, and that intense resistance starts to fade away. So your strategy has to shift from mere survival to aggressively upgrading your mental inputs.
Now hear me on this. You can't do everything at once. The source material heavily emphasizes that people who try to do a little bit of everything rarely get anywhere. They just end up exhausted and completely average across the board. To truly upgrade yourself in this phase, you absolutely need singular focus. Pick one skill, read one book, and channel all of your newly acquired energy into mastering that one specific domain.
There is a remarkably powerful principle at play here. What you put into your mind creates your life. It really is that simple. During days 8 through 15, you must fiercely audit your inputs. If you spend your free time endlessly scrolling, well, your mind becomes scattered, anxious, and reactive. It directly reflects that weakness. But if you intentionally feed your brain with positive knowledge, deep learning, and new skills, you begin building an undeniable new reality for yourself. You shift from being just a consumer to being a creator. And as a result, you start to rapidly outpace everyone around you who is still trapped in that endless distraction loop.
All right, on to Phase 3, days 16 through 23, competing with yourself and the battle against fading enthusiasm. By the time you hit this phase, I'm going to be real with you, the initial hype is completely gone. You just aren't running on that fresh adrenaline of a new, exciting challenge anymore. This is when the daily routine starts to feel like a very real, very heavy grind. And this is the ultimate danger zone where most people will quietly abandon their goals. So whenever you feel like quitting, you must confront yourself with one critical question to reignite your drive. Do I want to live my old life again? Seriously. When that alarm goes off on day 19 and you are just dead exhausted, ask yourself that exact question. If the answer is no, then you have absolutely no choice but to get up and get to work. During this grueling third phase, you need to shift your entire focus to the power of 1%. Don't obsess over the massive gap between where you are today and your ultimate end goal. Doing that, it's just going to overwhelm you and breed frustration. Instead, simply ask yourself, am I working slightly harder than I did yesterday? You really don't need to be perfect. Focusing on being just 1% better every single day results in a massive, mathematically compounding transformation by the end of the month. Consistency absolutely beats intensity here. Small daily inputs inevitably lead to disproportionately massive outputs over time. Which brings us to Phase 4, days 24 through 30. Forging a new identity, and the ultimate battle. We have officially reached the climax of your journey. You spent 23 days building this rock-solid foundation, and right now, you probably have two very conflicting voices in your head. One is saying, hey, you've worked so hard, you deserve to take a little break. But the other one is screaming, lock in this new life. To make sure that second voice wins, you need 4 operational rules for this final week. First, push your limits. If you've been working on your goal for 30 minutes, double it to an hour. Second, kill all remaining distractions. Put that phone completely on silent. Third, banish self-doubt. I mean, you've made it this far. Trust your capability. And fourth, entirely ignore the final results. Just focus solely on the flawless execution of your daily tasks.
It is so absolutely vital to double your effort now because comfort zones only offer peace, not success. And here is the hidden trap of the 30-day challenge. You have actually successfully created a brand new comfort zone over the last 23 days of discipline. Waking up early and working for 30 minutes, that might actually feel kind of normal to you now. So you must deliberately break that new comfort zone too. True growth only happens when you violently push past your perceived limits. Success lives entirely outside of what feels easy, even if what feels easy today is 10 times harder than what you were doing a month ago.
Now, the final trap people fall into during this last stretch is overthinking. They start to worry if all this tremendous effort is actually going to pay off in the real world. But listen, true victory happens in the mind first. Every single time you defeat the urge to check your phone, every time you crush a moment of self-doubt or laziness, you are proving that you now absolutely control your own mind. You are no longer just a passenger to your impulses. If you win this internal battle of focus and belief, the external victories, whether that's the money, the fitness, the new skill, they will automatically follow. It's an inevitable consequence of the person you've become.
And finally, our last section, your final decision and the unstoppable you. As we bring this explainer to a close, I want you to realize that this entire roadmap wasn't just some fun, trendy productivity challenge. It was a crucible, deliberately designed to forge your new identity. The old you would start a project with high enthusiasm and quit the exact moment things got hard. But this new version of you, you've proven you can push through fading motivation, you can overcome your primal brain's desire for rest, and you can execute regardless of your mood. While others are out there still making excuses, you are now a full month ahead of everyone who is still sitting around waiting for the perfect time to begin. Your future is decided every single morning when you choose discipline over excuses.
So I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, who will you be? Will you be the person who restarts constantly, riding these little waves of cheap motivation only to quit halfway through? Or will you be the unstoppable force that controls their own mind, executes daily, and actively shapes their own reality? The blueprint to completely overhaul your identity is right in front of you. The 30 days start whenever you decide they do. So what's it going to be? The choice is absolutely yours.